like to call the departmental meeting to order. If you would stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome everyone tonight, and welcome everyone watching at home. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Carter. Trustee Mariscal. Trustee Kazam.
Present.
Trustee Gatt.
Present.
Trustee Weisenberg.
Present.
Trustee DeVore.
Present.
All right, again, welcome everyone. We do have 2 trustees absent, but we do have a quorum. So we would be at approval of the departmental minutes of Tuesday, January 26, 2021. I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion and a second.
Second.
Any questions, corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. We would be at comments from the audience. If anyone would like to address the board, please come forward to the podium and give your name and address, and try and keep your remarks under 5 minutes. Anyone want to address the board tonight? Going once, going twice. We'll go on to old business. Any old business come for the board? Okay, hearing none, right into new business. The first is a discussion item on MFT rebuild project for the fiscal year 2021 through 2022 expenditure recommendations. Mike, please take this.
Yes, I'm proud to say through the Tri-County, as part of the Rebuild Illinois capital plan, we got a little bit over 405,704.64 in total funds, and which is going to be distributed, if you read there, over the next 3 years to be spent by July 1st, 2025. I got with the engineers and kind of looked at some bad areas and the worst areas and stuff, and Forest Park Drive is due. It's been over 10 years, 12 years since we really entertained that or fixed it up. So, and that's the #1 thing to go, because that hill's a major artery down to Galena Road. We have 2 nursing homes, and as well you know, we keep it well open in the wintertime because of the nursing homes, and plus going north or south on Galena Road there. So, and it's not failing real bad, but it is getting real bad. So if you take that into concept there. So, and that's what I recommend to the board, is you use the money to spend on Forest Park Drive, and we'll get that done.
So we need to send this to the full board for final action and approval. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a consensus to go with the recommendation by the Public Works Superintendent?
That was me, yeah.
All in agreement on that?
Yes.
Any questions for Mr. Casey? Madam Clerk, then we'll put that on the...
Mr. Casey, would you like to talk about the MFT?
Yeah, I was going to do that after I got done.
Secondary-
Yeah, because there's 2 parts to it, and we also, every year, our MFT funds, when we do our seal coating, spray patching, getting our salt, things like that, it's just a normal procedure to pass that also. So it's just a formality every year we do for MFT funds. So, and one thing I didn't mention was just we have been kind of earmarking money for Forest Park Drive. So thank God we got this in, so we can spend that money elsewhere to do more seal coating and things like that. So it'd be a win-win situation. But that's just basically a formality there with the seal coating, spray patching, things like that, getting salt.
Do you know when the last time, Terrace View and all them were seal coated?
I have to go back and look. I can't remember. I couldn't tell you what year. I know it was done, but I cannot give you a specific year, but I could find that out and see.
Okay.
And to answer your question, we did a little bit more bigger stuff, like say Glen, for instance, or Lake, for instance, and kind of switched around, but we're catching back up to like the normal 7-year rotation now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll get back on schedule and we'll have them all done, so. That's all
Any
I
other
have, Mayor.
questions? Anything else under Public Works, Mike or Dustin? If you get Trustee Weisberg the answer to that question sometime this week,
Yeah.
I'd appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Chris, do you have anything? Welcome. Chris Chandler?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Just wanted to thank our crew down at Public Works. We've had a couple issues with water mains, and on top of that, they're plowing snow, so you get out of a water main, you get in a plow truck. I just want to say thank you to those guys, they're doing great. Thanks.
Any questions for Chris? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to economic development. The first is a discussion item, Peoria Heights Arts Collaborative request for the Peoria Heights Fine Art Fair 2021 street closure and donation request. Trustee Kazan?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So as the mayor stated, this is a discussion item. We are posed with a request this evening from the Peoria Heights Arts Collaborative. Barb Malaccio and Teresa McDade are here tonight to give us further explanation. They were unable to do their Fine Arts Fair in 2020, but will hopefully be doing that again for the second annual in 3 years Fine Arts Fair this spring. And we have some information to hear from them tonight.
So welcome Barb and Teresa, and I think Julie's part of this too, so.
Yes, so thank you for having us. So obviously last year it was canceled because of COVID. We are really excited once again, 2021, to be co-chairs of the Peoria Heights Fine Art Fair. And we had some challenges last time, and I know there's still a lot of uncertainty that is going on with COVID, with vaccines and what have you, but we still feel like moving forward with our event is still doable. Add to that.
And our goal is to see Peoria Heights grow and events in Peoria Heights grow. And with this event, it could kick off the beginning of events in the Heights. With the street being closed, we can have some spacing for the vendors who come, for the artists. Even the restaurants can utilize some of that space during that time. So our hope is to help kick off a positive 2021 in the Heights.
That's great. And it is an outdoor event.
Yes.
Yep, so there will be social distancing and it's, outside in the fresh air. We met with the chamber coincidentally last night and we are enthusiastic about kicking off this year and having our outdoor events and really celebrating the Heights and that type of thing. So this would be the first of those events of the season.
Yes.
Questions?
Does anyone have any questions?
I see there's a request for $5,000
Yes.
for the event. Have we ever provided any sort of funding like this before for a private event in the Heights?
I think in 2019, we provided $2,800 plus the additional request for the help of the porta potties and the street closures and that type of thing, but Chief Sutton can speak to that more specifically than I.
Yeah, it wasn't a donation in 2019. It was, we just made the payments, if I remember right, we had some music, we had some, I think some chalk art, some other entertainment that we just paid directly to, and that did total $2,800. I think I itemized that. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Trustee Weisberg?
So one of the reasons why our monetary request was for the $5,000 is that we felt like with a lot of the hardships that have been going on with our businesses here in our community, most of them were our sponsors that we had for the first art fair, and hitting those businesses at such a vulnerable time, we were seeking just a larger amount from the village because we feel like what Teresa had mentioned, the restaurants and so forth could benefit from this. So that is one of the reasons why the request is the amount that it is.
And I'd also like to point out, we are a 501c3, so I don't know how it works financially for the village, but we did not have that that designation last year, and so.
And that was the reason, I believe, in 2019 that we did it that way, because you did not have that 501c.
Why isn't something like this routed through the chamber? Kind of seems like a perfect fit.
Yes, you're correct. I guess that would be a conduit that we do donate, well, we would anticipate donating to the chamber. I know that there were some stipulations made from the village to the chamber before we would do that, and we're still working through those. As of today, I was working through that to get the chamber to a point where if we did donate to them, they could facilitate these funds to the art fair. And I think, going back 3 years ago, we had a lot of those discussions at the chamber meetings on who would facilitate the money. We ran into the 501c issues. So it's kind of a moving target. That is an option if the chamber were to, I should say, cover that stipulation that the village put on them regarding some audit information. I think we could go that route. I'm not sure what the timeline is for the, for this request, Barb, Teresa, as far as letting, I'm sure there's some lead time with letting the artists know. I am saying I'm working with the auditor to get the information to the chamber that they need. I know they're going through some changes as well with the new president. So we're trying to, again, a moving target, trying to get that done as soon as possible. And then again, I guess you could discuss either way. I think it's going to come down to the amount. We did budget the amount in marketing, so we do have the money. Whether it goes through the chamber, if we're going to donate money to the chamber and let them facilitate it, I'm not sure if you've had any dialogue with them if that were to go that route. I know 3 years ago we donated $5,000 to them. It was used for their website, though that wasn't circled back out to you, I don't believe.
Yeah, I don't believe so. So,
Yeah.
and being a chamber board member, I don't want to take any funding away from this. Because we were having a difficult time getting funding, it was run through the chamber because they were as a nonprofit organization. But because now with this being a focus of arts, it is under the 501c3 as the Peoria Heights Arts Collaborative. So we feel like this being a truly specific art event is why it would fall more so with the Arts Collaborative as the Fine Art Fair versus the Chamber of Commerce. So definitely, a stipulation. And also too, because, and I think Julie might be able to help us with this a little bit as well, because she is on the, and Teresa's as well, under the Peoria Heights Arts Collaborative, that we're really trying to build that program in itself where it will fall under culinary, literacy, and then the arts. So still, potentially working with the chamber, but still having its own entity in itself. And we just felt like with the Peoria Heights Arts Collaborative, the art fair being underneath that, and that's forming with the 501c3, getting the status, is the preferable direction we would like to see.
Barb, do you have any information on how many people attended the first arts fair?
So we're thinking it was around 2,000 people. We had, our weather wasn't fantastic.
I remember it was
We
raining,
had
coincidentally.
rain, yes, in the afternoon. We have had so many requests, and are we having it, are we not having it? I had 3 phone calls today just from random artists that are like, please have this art fair. So it's hard. We obviously realize, with COVID and different situations, going on, we just feel like people are just yearning to get out, just to do something, within the community. And I feel like our attendance will just be huge. I really do. Just supporting the businesses, supporting the artists, those tax dollars that of course, will benefit the Heights, as well.
That's what I just wanted to say. I don't want to,
I was just going to say that, we had 2 officers working that event, and I will tell you, I would agree that even in bad weather, the comments I received from them, they were amazed the amount of people that came out in that weather for that event. So it is well attended, I know.
And just from, where I sit as an economic development person, this does fall into our 3 or multiple pronged approach to create, Peoria Heights as an economic, agriculture, and arts community. So I think that's something that has really meant a lot to me. I mean, this is a driver for getting people here, educating them on our community, spending money, dollars in our stores and boutiques and restaurants. So that's just something that I want to keep in mind with our fellow trustees.
In 2020, when you came to us, I know that we had requested numbers for how much the porta potties were gonna cost and how many garbage receptacles you were gonna need. Do we have those numbers today?
So I don't have the specifics. As I recall, it was about $500 for the porta potties. And for the garbage, I don't recall.
So I mean, I see that you have everything listed here and then in kind list, you know, the street blocking, police security, garbage, porta potties, that we would do. So I just feel like in good faith with like what we've done throughout this whole year, you know, we have really tried to stick to our guns and, everyone's had to make reductions due to COVID and like keeping things on track. So I feel like these things would have to be, like the police security obviously wouldn't be in your budget, but everything else I feel like would have to be like not in addition to the 5,000, it would have to be in that 5,000.
Yes, so and I'm sorry that we did not clarify that. So our request, it's at the bottom of this one, that the porta potties, that we will put that into the amount. Does it have specifically on here with
I mean, it
this?
says in kind, so,
Okay.
so in kind, I'm assuming means that that we would pay for these, and then snacks and water would be paid for by Walgreens or CVS on top of the
Correct.
5,000.
Right, so we are trying to get as many donations as possible. Those are just the Walgreens and CVS were businesses
Yeah.
that we had approached before, and they had asked. And also too, you know, with the proposal with the advertising and what have you, I mean, those were, we met with each one of the different media experts on it. So those are just projections. So if it's something that if we need to back out with something and put the porta potties in there, we would definitely, you know, do that as well as the garbage too.
Okay, can you tell me what Zapplication is?
Yes, so do you want to explain a little bit
Yeah,
more?
Zapplication is a site that the artists watch for shows, and then when they see a show they want to enter, they enter it through Zapplication, which we have our show on Zapplication. That's where we got all of our artists last, you know, in 2019. So it's just an artist's outlet to find shows, apply for them. They also do all of the behind-the-scenes work of getting the artist money, and then they transfer the money to the account. So they manage the financial side of getting the artists.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then how much did the event cost in 2019, do you know?
The event costed just under $15,000. Which to have an event of that magnitude is pretty incredible. There were tents that were available for artists that were,
Scholarship.
yeah, scholarships in a sense, which we'll be offering again. I mean, for $15,000 to do what we did was pretty awesome. And that's application, I just kind of went ahead, and that is our tool for communicating with all the artists too. So they're acting as accountants for us, that money is deposited directly, and all of our messaging is done with our artists through that communication. So it's really, it is a tool, it's for advertising, it's for seeking some of our artists, and just really the entire process through the end. And it's, we've actually looked at several other opportunities for the artist interaction, and this by far is definitely much more reasonable as far as some of the other ones that are available that are out there. And it's a popular one too that is used throughout art fairs.
Well known.
Yeah.
In the art community.
And so I know you guys had became a nonprofit in this terrible time too, right? Because you became a nonprofit and then this has all happened. But
Yes.
have you done any fundraiser events since you've become a 501c?
The
Yes,
New
so
Year's Eve.
last year, before everything hit, we had a Roaring Twenties party that was held at the Scottish Rite Theater, and it was a fantastic event. It was really nice. So we did do some fundraising there. There was about $5,000 after expenses that were made that was obtained. So we will be using some of that money, or pretty much all of that, towards this.
Okay, so then on your first event, am I correctly understand, so we donated $2,800 or paid bills up to $2,800, you received $5,000 from the chamber, and then did the rest of the money come from donors?
They did.
Okay.
Our donors were very gracious, yes. We had a lot of in-kind donations as well as some monetary donations as well, too. And like I had mentioned before, just with some of the donors that, we hit up local businesses and that, and we just feel like this is not the time, to be doing that.
Okay, so you're not gonna ask any businesses?
We will be asking some, but we won't be, we would like not to rely on them. We'd like to bring more business to the community.
Sure.
And then next year, as, more of an ask. I mean, if we have it in our budget, the first year we had an artist gathering, it was really nice. It was a meet and greet with the committee and the other artists. We're not doing that. If we do have the funds for it, or we could talk to one of the businesses to offer lunch potentially to them. There's just things that we just have to be a little careful with, with our ask, and because we just want to help businesses, and just to go out and get that ask, I'm just a little hesitant.
Yeah, and I will say, some of the larger businesses that maybe weren't so harshly impacted, of course, will make the ask. So to say we're not going to do fundraising for this, we also have a lot of in-kind we plan on asking for, because in the end, it helps all of us, so.
Right, okay. That's all my questions.
Anyone else?
Yeah, just one comment.
I want to thank you, ladies, because a while back, a lot of these promotions of events and events for the arts fell on village administration, and we asked the business community and the art community to step up and take ownership of this, and you have, and I thank you very much for doing so. Last year was an unusual year, but I'm personally ready to kick off a lot of events in Peoria Heights in 2021, and as was stated earlier, I think these type of events distinguish us from other communities because we have a lot of open space here, we have a lot of green space, and these are affordable, normally free events for residents to come and enjoy. So I thank you very much for all the time and effort you put in on this. We'll move this to the, yes,
Trustee.
we'll move this to the full board meeting for approval. Go ahead, Trustee.
Yeah, just one other comment. I think, Trustee Kazam, I think we all agree about the importance of economic development, but I worry that this sets an expensive precedent. Every event planner now is going to walk through the door. And how do we set the criteria on which events we donate money to and which ones we don't? It's no secret that the business community has been hit hard this last year, but so have the citizens of Peoria Heights. And to ask them to subsidize a private event when many of them are probably maybe still unemployed is a little concerning, because I don't know I don't know to which criteria do we judge these events.
I don't mean to cut you off. I understand that question, and I think it's a very sound and prudent thing to think about. I think I would pose the question to the administrator or to Stephanie, but from what I understand right now, because of our prudence, we've been able to not pass cost on to our residents. And I would say that we have the money in our budget now, and I think that we should look at these potentially on a case-by-case basis. I also have the same concerns that you do, and maybe this is a conversation we can have going forward about how we prioritize different things. But with this being in front of us now, what I would say is, like the mayor iterated, we have requested that our local businesses step up and take initiative in these types of things to bring business to our community, and they're doing it, and that should be acknowledged. To what dollar amount, that's something that we need to decide collectively, but
Well, I think that's a good question, so I would ask, we're operating under the committee system here, I would ask you to, everyone's here tonight hearing that question, so maybe in the future you could meet with the Arts Collaborative and identify some events that prioritize them, and I suppose you could have too many events, I don't know, but maybe we could adopt a calendar every year, I'm just thinking out loud, but.
Yeah, and I think that we kind of know off the top of our head the 3 events that are really the highlight events. I hope I'm not maybe forgetting anything, but it's the Taste, the art show, St. Patrick's Day, and maybe Christmas, a few Christmas events. So we kind of know more or less, and so, yeah, but I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, I think there are larger events that you just mentioned. There were smaller events that we were having, like movie nights and different things in Tower Park. So I think maybe on large events like closing down the street, maybe the board wants to adopt more of a policy and a calendar for that. And I'm open to that, but we have to start at some point. So
Yes,
if you'd begin the
absolutely.
conversation, that'd be great.
I'm happy to.
So I guess, go ahead, Trustee.
Just one follow-up question for Trustee Kazam. If this was such a, I believe it is an important economic event, so why isn't it sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce? Why, I mean, if it was such an economic boom, you think they would be the ones that would want to
And
sponsor it? And
maybe Barb or Teresa can answer that question. Have you had conversations with the chamber? They may be helping you as well. I don't know.
So I had mentioned that with the Peoria Heights Arts Collaborative being formed as the 501c3, with this being an arts collaborative, we felt like that the Peoria Heights Fine Art Fair, that this is the right place for this to be under the Arts Collaborative. I mean, Julie, do you have anything that you'd like to expand on that with you being on the board? I mean, it just seems like it's fitting. This is an arts event under the Peoria Heights Arts Collaborative.
I get it, and everyone's stressing the importance in relation to economic development. That's why I figured that the chamber would have an interest in this as well.
I guess what I'd add, so one thing that is actually I find very interesting is you're getting to see this growth process like right before your eyes. And what, if we dial back in time, the Peoria Heights Arts Collaborative actually started as an arts committee upstairs, and it was a committee for the village, and we were just volunteering committee. Then talk about, and it wasn't a bad growing pain, but it was an eye-opening growing part because you both co-chaired the first art fair, and it was so successful. We came back and we were excited, and we saw one stumbling block if we wanted to become better at what we were doing, and it's not being a 501c3. When we'd go to ask for donations, it caps. You can't ask for much more. And we thought then it would be prudent to have the right structure and the right foundation, and that's how this little arts committee became the Peoria Heights, specifically Peoria Heights, not Peoria, Arts Collaborative, and that's really the purpose, so that we could start off on the right foot. And then our disciplines we were looking at, and by the way, I know we've been talking about funding and how's this all, like who's going to come next and forward and ask for money. So the Arts Collaborative, our mission is not to ask for money for the collaborative, because we're not going to come and ask for operating costs. We want the disciplines, we want the arts to thrive. So it just happens right now. We have a great example, which is the art fair. What we envision as we grow is to have more events, to bring literary, to bring performing arts, and then those will grow also. So, it's really one, like, I'd love to be able to answer your questions about funding and are we going to have too many events, but you're literally watching us grow up right now. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we've been looking at the Arts Collaborative as almost like a parallel to the chamber, like instead of it being viewed as if they're under the chamber, it would almost be like they're each their own entity under the village of Peoria Heights. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think that's right, yes.
So like the chamber, so it's like we have this, then we have the BDD, we have the chamber, we have the Arts Collaborative as its like own entity. So then we typically, if all policies and procedures are followed, donate money to the chamber every year. So when you say that we have this money in marketing, was that designed that we would donate money to the Arts Collaborative in the same fashion that we would donate money to the chamber?
Yes.
So then will, in the future, the Arts Collaborative have to perform the same procedures as the chamber to receive those funds?
What would those be?
Well, like, will they have to be audited as well?
Well, they operate under different rules as a 501c3, very strict rules, I would expect. I wish Mr. Walton were here tonight, but
Okay. I just am just making sure I'm following
Yes.
correctly. Okay, thank you.
and those donations, so please donate to the Arts Collaborative. They're tax deductible, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
thank you.
So is there, we are incredibly at a time crunch.
I was just about to ask my fellow
Okay.
trustees if
Thank
they
you.
feel comfortable taking this to the next board meeting as an action item.
We will place that on the agenda, yeah.
Well, and one of the other items, Mayor, is we need to discuss briefly is the road closure.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's also on there, the road closure.
Okay, so we'll have to have that in, at the same board meeting to approve both the event and the road closure.
Correct. I mean, it's on there as a discussion item. If anybody has any question, I know we talked about this at length last year, but it was
Right.
canceled. So as far as the police chief, my approach isn't going to change. You know, in 2019, we didn't close the entire road off, and it caused a lot of problems. So I recommended last year that if we were going to have it, we would need to close Prospect off from Glen to Cyberling. And then there were some questions then proposed as far as rerouting traffic. It was this group's opinion that we needed better, I should say, traffic signage and also manned. So that's something we covered at that time, and my approach on that has not changed either. So I'd take the same approach that I really don't think shutting out one side is safe. It was not, and I got that from the officers that worked the fair. So I'm recommending that we do close down. If everything goes through, you end up having it, and it sounds like you are on your way, that we would close down Prospect between Glen and Cyberling, and I would also cover the traffic control and also the extra signage for rerouting.
And would we, I think at the risk of avoiding a mob this year, but last year, we decided to reduce the speed limit on the back street on Columbus.
Correct.
Because one of the concerns was.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
one of the concerns was the traffic can only go 25 miles an hour down Prospect, but then we route all that through a residential neighborhood at 30 miles an hour.
Right. Yeah, and if I remember right, Mr. Casey ordered those signs. We do have them. We just, of course, without the event, we just stored them. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we would be at the next item, a discussion item, the Peoria County Night of Hope request for the use of Tower Park on October 2nd, 2021. Trustee Kazan?
Thank you. I don't see Allison Marlowe in the audience or anyone to speak to this event. We do this often. I don't know if anybody has any questions about using Tower Park for this use.
So
Okay, I recommend to take this to the next
we'll
meeting.
have to adopt that at the board meeting. Anything else under economic development?
Nothing.
All right, thank you. Fire, Trustee Weisenberg, you have an action item, ordinance 2021-1644, an ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 8F of the Village Code of the Village of Peoria Heights regarding the office of the Chief of the Fire Department of the Village of Peoria Heights. So I'd ask for a motion to approve that.
Sure, make a motion to approve ordinance 2021-1644.
Thank you. And a second? Second by Trustee Gett. Okay, Trustee Weisenberg, go right ahead.
Sure, this is an amendment to an ordinance, basically specifying that the fire chief reports to the village administrator. Before, I think we had him reporting to the mayor, when we thought for efficiency.
That is correct. And I'm actually one that's in agreement that under a good structure of form of government, that the chief should report to the administrator.
Right, for efficiency reasons, we amended it to report to Administrator Sutton.
Okay, any discussion? Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Kazan?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg?
Aye.
Trustee DeVore.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Thank you all. Trustee Weisenberg, anything under fire? Anything else?
No.
All right, thank you. Have one other piece of business I want to take care of tonight. As you all know, Joan Krupa recently resigned from the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District. I had a long list of people. We've got a deep team here in Peoria Heights that I considered. But in the end, I think my choice is I'm honored to place the name of Chris Ahart to fill that appointment to the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District. I think we all know Chris, and one of the things is that we want someone that's going to represent us very well on the board, but as I thought about it, Chris has a real unique perspective as the deputy chief here. He certainly understands the transportation needs in Peoria Heights, which is a very important part of what this job does, but also his role as a school board member, I think, gives him a good understanding of the people in the community that are in need, and I want to keep in mind that we don't forget the customers of this service, which are sometimes people who are in great need and have to use public transportation. So I think he understands all of that, and I think he'll be an outstanding representative of Peoria Heights on the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District, so I would ask for a motion to approve that.
I make a motion to approve Chris Ahart to the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District.
Thank you, and a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Kazan.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg.
Aye.
Trustee DeVore.
Aye.
Thank you all. That passes. Good luck, Mr. Ahart. Next, we be at miscellaneous business. Any miscellaneous business come before the board? Okay, we would be at payment of the bills. I'd ask for a motion to pay the bills.
I make a motion?
In a second.
Second.
Any question on any of the bills? Any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Kazan.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg.
Aye.
Trustee DeVore.
Aye.
That passes. Trustee Gett,
I make a motion to adjourn.
do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you all. We're adjourned.